can see it perfectly.
Okay, cool. Also gonna record this if this is okay with you, and then I'm just gonna
Yes.
throw it up so that way you can go back and look at it later.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Okay,
No
I'm just.
problem.
Cool. Oh.
They really need to add an option to turn off that join notification sound.
All right. Let me go ahead, back this up to the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
I wish they would add a faster way to do this. All right. Very good.
You heard that you can hold it right and it goes to the next event.
Yep. It's just
Yeah. I mean, it's still slow, but
yeah.
uh,
So one of the things that I notice the most in this is you do a lot of things that kind of confuse your teammate. Uh,
okay.
so that was just a simple kickoff goal. You kind of have to challenge this, uh,
Hit
just
it on my
because you
screen.
cheat up. Yeah, yeah. So are you still seeing it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of have to challenge this. The biggest thing is try and this is just working on reads. So I would not flip right here because that actually slows you down in your ability to react. I would just drive so that way right here you can flip towards wherever it is. You see, you're right here and he's right here. You should actually be beating him, if not at the very least getting a 50 here. Uh, let's see how much boost you have, because right here you should have already jumped for this. Uh, so typically the person who jumps first, as long as they're accurate, will win an aerial 50-50. So as soon as you have speed, you should be jumping. You see how you jump late,
Yeah.
and he just comes up on this wall, and that's why he's able just ever so slightly. Uh, Also, if you look at right here.
I mean, I do it on purpose because I don't want to go too far forward. So I usually stop there as like a, or not stop, but I usually wait at this point to not overextend.
Yeah, well, the thing is right here, you either this is no man's land, so this is kind of like the worst of both worlds. You want
Okay.
to be further up so that way you can react. Because if you're sitting like another quarter of the field up, then you're definitely beating anybody to this ball. And if it goes up and behind you, he's so far back that he's not going to be able to do anything. Uh, and you're still closer to your opponent who just took a 50. Uh, so I would cheat up just a little bit further on this. And then also, I want you to see how much you move your car when you do this aerial. So you see how you kind of jump, you boost, and then you rotate your car, and you're out of boost. You want to, and this is just, and that's also uh, why you want to kind of wait till now to flip if you're going to sit that far back to gain speed. Uh,
Yeah.
so that way you don't waste all this boost because you jump up and you boost like a normal area, you turn your car and oh, now I'm out of boost. So you
I don't
want
really see how I could have. How would I go if to reach this ball quicker from this
so
position?
so right here you don't want to flip off the start, you just want to drive. Uh, so as you're driving, you're going to keep your momentum going, and then right here you're going to flip to this.
Really?
Yes. So if you speed flip, so right here, start out, you have 33 boost, you pick up 12, you pick up another 12. So right here, if you just immediately speed flip, you're gonna hit supersonic and have 20 boost. So that means you're gonna be supersonic, probably about another 10 feet closer to this ball, faster, and then you'll have 30 boost to make this aerial, as opposed to being slow, and by the time you actually jump, you only have 7 boost.
Mhm.
Uh,
That sounds very reasonable. I mean, it's obviously just my lack of awareness, but the reason I wouldn't do that is because I would be scared of him being there before me. But if I saw him in the corner, I probably if I thought that he's in the corner, I'm there first, then I probably would have speed lift.
yeah, so whenever you're cheating on kickoff, you don't really want to be paying attention to the kickoff. You want to be paying attention to uh, their second man. So so you see him go back, that means you can cheat up as hard as you want because you're gonna beat him to anything. Uh,
Mm,
so if he's cheating up too, you want to mirror what he's doing, so that way you can be ready for a 50. Uh, so right here, you're just sitting in a position to where you're not grabbing boost, uh, and you're so far from the play that you can't really influence it. Yes, you do want to be far enough back to where you can react to anything, but you still have to be in a position to be able to react to it. So right here, you're just sitting too far back. Uh, Most of the time, you're going to want to be sitting right about here by the time that 50 happens, because even if it goes up and over you, you're not gonna be boosting it, so you can power slide drift and speed flip and still beat anybody to this ball. Uh, so I would just cheat up a little bit more, and then use your flips to gain momentum instead of using all your boost to gain momentum. Because speed flip's gonna cover the same amount of distance, but it's gonna get you supersonic, and then also conserve boost. Uh,
yeah.
uh, so this right here, you kind of confuse your teammate a little bit. Uh, so right here, if your teammate's here, you should just immediately be rotating out, and you just kind of have to trust him to make this play. So instead of cutting back in here, you should be grabbing pads, rotating back wide. Uh, but instead, you're fighting for a boost that you're getting beaten to.
Yeah. In this play, I started. If you go back, I started turning in, but then my teammate didn't go, so then I went instead. So we kind of faked each other because here you see I'm turning right, but then
Yeah.
he turns away from the play.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where you got to commit to it and just be like, the faster you make your decision and make it obvious and stick with it, uh, it builds trust in your teammate. So your teammate right here, he goes, okay, I'm beat to this. Now I'm gonna go. Your teammate's setting up to shadow right now, and then he sees you boosting in, and he goes, "Oh, my teammate's gonna challenge this now." But now you just go for boost, and now he sees that you're going for boost, and that's when he jumps for this. And then he gets a bad touch on it. And right here, you're rotating back. He sets up to shadow again, and then you're pushing out mid when he's expecting you to be rotating back in this way.
Hmm.
And so that's where those little tiny things, you really just got to commit to rotating, especially at the start of the game, and just make it real obvious what it is that you're going to do. So that way your teammate can start to read you and play off of you. Uh,
And that's over.
so does that make sense as how all those things kind of played together into you guys faking
Yeah,
each other out and why you just make a decision and stick with it?
yeah. I see that I need to make things more clear. I do want to mention that when I went for the boost, I
Hmm.
saw that Tebs was he hesitated to go, so I knew that I had time. So I thought my teammate had a free ball, so I can't just take the boost.
Yeah, but
Uh,
even then, trying to take that boost versus setting yourself up to position to support your teammate while grabbing 60 boost off of pads, uh, getting 100 boost is, especially in the midfield when it's a 1v2, it's a little bit overrated, uh, because you two, the amount of boost that you two have combined is going to outweigh any amount of boost he can have. So you want to kind of think of each engagement as Well, at this level, you want to start thinking about it as how much boost does everybody have in this interaction, and how can we make them waste more boost than we do? Because if you could make him waste 100 boost for you guys combined 75 boost that you use because there's two of you, then you've won that interaction on the boost battle, and you've started to boost starve them even in your own half. Uh, and then just as you start to do that, they start to slow down, they get more desperate for boost, and that's a little bit more long-term strategy. But that's how you got to kind of think about the boost, is keeping your interactions to where you use as little and make them use the most. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Dreams? Or do you have any questions about that? Your mic's cutting out.
Hello?
Okay,
Can you
there
hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying I was noting it down. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Also, should I record this as well, or is this recording going to be public? Or
Yeah, I can either just send it to you or I can post it somewhere or something. So.
yeah, awesome. Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. And so in this kind of interaction, or this next set, and for everybody watching, I watched this before we got on here, so I'm not just psychic or something. So right here, as you make this play, this 50 that you make after you try and make this clear, this is where you want to just drive challenge. So you want to cover the options. Your teammate is still in recovery. And so going for this and throwing the ball away and putting yourself out of position is what leads us to scored on. Because if you saw your teammate, let's switch back to here. Right here, you make this touch, recovery, force a touch. So right here,
Yeah, that's a bad touch.
Yeah, that's a bad touch, but this, I mean, that's just a simple mechanical mistake. I want to focus more so on decision mistakes, because you're Grand Champ. I don't need to point out when you mechanically mess up. But right here, he doesn't quite have a shot yet, and then you're also positioning your momentum very wide. I would actually slow down just a little bit here because he's slowing down. He doesn't. One of the keys to look for if somebody is a threat or not is if they have control of the ball. Right here, it bounced off his car. He does not have perfect control over this. The only thing that he can do is a really weak flick on this next touch, try and take control of it some more, which is going to take more time, and then secondly, get like a bounce dribble shot or a weak shot. He doesn't have a momentum or an angle on net here to do anything powerful. So he's not a threat. You see how much space between him and the ball is?
Yeah.
So this means you can do a more direct challenge. So he's going for a control play here. So if you look at that, look at how he tries to catch this right here. You see that? He's trying to catch that. So you know he wants to take control over this. Think from his perspective. If you just made that touch and you're trying to get control over this no matter what are you going to do? You're going to go to the other side and try and get a soft touch in. And that's exactly what he does. So he goes to the other side of the ball to try and get a soft touch in. And you've got all your momentum going across that. So you can take your time with this challenge to line it up better and position yourself to follow this up more. You don't have to challenge this quite as soon. Does that make sense as far as reading that specific interaction?
Yeah, I mean, what you said is such a grand intervention. Like, me actually thinking about how much control he has over the ball. That's truly helpful because I've heard a lot of pros, especially Scrub, talk about drive challenges, so I know how good they are. It's just, and I think I judged him. I judged his ability to shoot on net
Mhm.
high when I see this replay. It's obvious he doesn't have an opportunity to shoot because of his lack of dribbling skills.
Yeah, and that's what really separates GC from SSL and SSL from pro is a pro when this guy makes this touch, that ball's sticking to his car and he's setting up a flick immediately.
Yeah,
And well, yes, GCs can do that. Even diamonds can do that occasionally. The level of consistency of doing that is what separates these levels. Because I'm pretty sure he's caught that type of ball before, but he just doesn't
yeah,
do it consistently. And so that's where you got to look at it from your opponent's perspective and see what options does he have. And right now, with him having all his momentum going across the field, uh, he's either going to have to let this drop and get a half volley, which you can easily 50, or he's going to try and take control of it. He doesn't have that many options, and you can read that as soon as that ball bounces off his head.
hmm
And so this positioning is good because you're forcing him to do something, and he doesn't jump. And so he's going for that control play. Uh, Now, if
yeah,
he jumps, then yes, jump, react, try and force the ball high or force it to where it's slow so your teammate can react to it, et cetera, et cetera. But this challenge right here, it's an unnecessary challenge and not the smartest way to challenge this ball. And kind of just going through like the rest of the stuff, that entire replay, it's kind of just a repetition of those 2 points. So we're going
yeah,
to try
okay,
and find that other replay that you just sent me. But does
yeah.
that make sense as far as positioning on kickoffs, the boost battle, and then challenging them when they don't have control versus respecting them when they do have control and how to recognize that?
Yeah, though those are some amazing tips because I always expect the best out of my opponents because that's the safest way to play. But capitalizing on those lack of control is just a free goal. So yeah, that's great tips.
Yeah, so that's one of those things is respecting your opponent too much is not reading the play properly. So at a pro level, you have to expect that because everybody is so consistent. But even call out and be like, okay, he's not going to hit that. And they challenge it as if he's not going to hit it. And if anything, it just forces out a specific option uh, from the other team. Because even by challenging that miss, he's cutting off a passing lane of that pro making a play or something like that. Uh, so there's ways to challenge that cover both a miss and a pass option, or at least forcing the ball to one side. Uh, so you don't always want to expect your opponent to be playing perfectly. You do want to expect that they have that option to make the perfect play, but as soon as you see that they don't by that ball bouncing off the top of their car, uh, then you know, okay, I can challenge this because they can't make the perfect play now.
Yeah,
So let's go. Why can't? So again, so you see how you just kind of drove up here, and right here, you're still beating anybody to this ball. So right here, you should have kind of jumped for this already. This was something else that I kind of noticed
yeah.
is.
This okay. I maybe bad excuse, but my excuse for this, I obviously should have looked to my left, but I
Mhm,
was listening for his engine and he didn't boost,
mhm.
so he faked me out. So that's why I didn't jump.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, bad excuse because of my lack of awareness. But I didn't hear him boost, so
Mhm.
that's why I didn't jump.
Yeah, and so that's you just want to think kind of take into account what the options are and what you would do in their position, and that will help you kind of pre-jump this. And then also uh, the most underused skill set in Rocket League, even at the pro level, is use your right stick to gather information. Uh,
On PC.
uh, there's a I don't know exactly how you
Yeah,
do it on
I've
PC,
bound
but
my
there's like
mouse
a
button.
yeah, like there's a mouse
Yeah.
button to where you can look left and look right, or I know you can at least bind it. I'm not a KBM player.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have that bound. It's just I didn't use it here.
yeah,
I was tired. This game is played at night.
so that explains it too. Uh, so obviously jump for this. Uh,
Yeah.
don't miss the boost. Uh, so just some stuff in jest.
Yeah, it's
But
truly.
yeah. So right here, uh, you have more time on this ball. I would be coming at this because he's so far away. I would be coming at this off of this wall instead of trying to drive straight at it. Realize the ball's coming towards you and away from him, so you're going to beat him to this corner 9 days out of the week, and you can get a powerful clear, or you can get a soft touch, turn this into an air dribble. You've got options galore here. But that's if you take a wider path into this instead of trying to turn into a shadow position.
Can I say I totally respect that, but
Mhm.
I actually think at this rank it's better for me to let the ball come to me to give my teammate time to recover.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying you have options there. If
Yeah,
you come at it more so from this angle, because you also waste a lot of boost here. My point was more so about coming at this instead of driving straight here. If you had just gone up this back wall and let it come to you this way, because you can
true.
challenge this a little bit. You can beat one man. Uh, this guy is committed to this side of the field. Uh, Depending on the situation, it is a good idea to clear it all the way off to this side, to this corner, and then set yourself up to shadow as your teammate rotates back in some situations. But because you kind of take all this time here, uh, you're letting your opponents get set up too. Uh, and so that's the balance is do I let my team get set up more and allow the other team to get set up as well? Or do I clear the ball and just reset the play? And so that's the kind of, and this is a play style decision, not a one is right, one is wrong decision, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Uh, so teammate cheats up too far, mechanical mistake by teammate. So so something else I would do here is I would drive up the wall a little bit more and try and get out of your teammate's way. Uh, because he's the one going for the play, he's the one that needs that boost. So either go up the wall more to get out of his way or cut in harder to get out of his way. Or were you going for that demo there?
I think so. Can you check it from my perspective?
Yeah.
I think I was going for the demo. I'm unsure.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's see.
Nah, no, I'm just trolling. I should have. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I don't even think you're the one that got that demo. But uh, try and roll in a little bit more, rotate back post ish. So
Yeah,
back to fly cam. Okay. So it just another thing. You don't grab pads near as much as you should. See how you're advancing on this play. If you alter your path just a little bit, it should be habit for you to grab pads at this rate. So this is a trick that Justin uses a lot, is instead of trying to read that squishy save, just position yourself right here. So that way if it goes up here, you can just drive up this wall and boost. And then, great part about that is as you're boosting, because you just drove straight off this wall and then jump, you still have your flip, just like a squishy save. And then also, if it's got to cross this plane somehow, and with how close it is and how slow it is moving, I'm sure at GC with a double jump and 12 boost, you can get in somebody's way by just sitting right here and either driving and boosting or jumping with how close this is. So if
That's really smart.
If you were sitting in net right here with how slow this is moving, just look at it from right here. So pretend you have ball cam on. Oh, yeah. You see how easy that is to get a good clear and how overcommitted his teammate is? So that's an OP trick that I unabashedly stole from Justin.
Yeah, that's really clever actually. I thought he was going for the shot directly.
But even then, even if he's going for this direct shot, he's too low to get this direct shot, and he's not going to be able to get up above it. And so part of that's just being able to read your opponent. And then also, if he does take a direct shot, this is on your teammate.
Okay.
So let's look at the moment you start to go up or could have positioned. So right here, with his momentum, so he's going this way, the ball is here. He's having to readjust in the air. And so because he's having to readjust, he's not going to get a powerful shot. You see his boost trail, how it comes up and it curves. As soon as you see that curve, you know that you're not in threat of a powerful shot. And that's when you could just turn back down here and be ready. Or you could have just drove and kind of slowly drove here, and as this ball reaches this corner, tapped that out or jumped and hit it back into your corner. The amount of good options you have from this position versus two opponents in your box and nowhere else, they're kind of endless here. So a little bit of panic on defense. Okay. Good job spreading back out. Okay. Here, we touch the corner, forcing it in. Let's see. So your teammate's coming in a challenge. I don't like this idea from your teammate. He really should be rotating back to support what you do, and you should be shadowing here. So if you're going to take everything into your own hands and blame you as much as possible, and instead of turning on this ball because you're on ball cam, so you should have checked to see where your teammate is and seen that he's rotating back in a cut. So you should just continue, grab these boost pads and rotate out. But again, your teammate really shouldn't be doing that. But if you use your ball cam and car cam to just kind of assess the field while you don't have control over this and he doesn't have options, that's one of the things is people always ask me, when do I use my right stick to gather information? and it's when you have space and you can't make a play and your opponent can't make a play. So your opponent, 9 times out of 10, is going to hit this somewhere this way. So right now would be that perfect time to use that right stick to see where your teammate is. And again, your teammate should be cutting back in here like this, but that's how you could know and not sacrifice anything.
Makes sense.
Okay. So I'm just going to mention this because I preach this in every other lobby. See how he's sitting back midfield, waiting to react to the play? That's what you need to be doing every time. Gives you space to read the play, and you can react to anything in your gathering boost. And he's also sideways, so he can turn back in, turn out, half flip. Sideways on the halfway line, guys. There's a reason he's GC, and that's one of those reasons. So again, your teammate kind of cuts in. Now he decides. Yeah. So the person who grabs the boost is the one who's immediately making the play. So if you grab this boost, you should be up this wall to make a play. So even if like they push it back out here, if you're on the wall, you already have height to challenge anything that's high, and your teammate's covering anything that's low. And if it's going towards the net, your teammate has momentum. He can be grabbing these boost pads. From here, he can flip, grab these boost pads, and have 24 boost, which is enough boost to tap any shot into the corner while you cover what's high. So if you're grabbing boost, you should be the one, or in this situation, if you're the one grabbing boost, you should be turning on the ball immediately.
So makes sense. I think my teammate kind of faked me because it looked like he was going up the wall to pass. But yeah, that's my bad for not being.
So let's watch it from your perspective.
Because it looked like he was going up the ball to boom it up, so I think that's why I grabbed the boost.
Yeah. So he's going.
Okay. Yeah, here.
Yeah. So right there. This is another instance of just bad body language from your teammate. The thing is you should, if anything, you should continue up this wall to conserve momentum into whatever play is next. Because now you used, 30 boost to get back in the play, and your opponent used 0 boost. So that's a net gain for your opponent. So if right here you just continued up this wall, the other thing is it would give you more information. It's easier to see what's going on from here by driving up this wall than it is from down here. So you get more information from being higher on the wall here. And you can kind of see a lot clearer what your teammate's doing. So, because from here, it's kind of hard to see his boost trail, especially with how it blends in with the wall. But from up here, you can see clearly that he's leaving this play, and then you can turn in on this. And even just turning in and fake challenging and making that guy throw the ball away sooner. So giving him less time to control that. But right here, because you turn back while your teammate was already turning back, you're kind of both trying to shadow. But if you're going to grab boost, turn in on the play, or at the very least, conserve your momentum. Save that momentum so you don't have to use boost. And again, the wall is one of the most powerful positions because you can turn sideways on the wall, and you can jump and basically fast aerial off the wall to cover anything this way, or if it goes up the wall, you're already on the wall. And then that lets your teammate know what he should do. So.
I think pass or not, I should have just committed because I have the advantage with the momentum.
Yeah. And some of the stuff that I'm telling you is more so for the people in the chat who aren't GC yet. So if I'm saying things that sound really simple. That's why. And everybody can be flat sometimes. So just a whiff by, my bad. So.
You should have had another name.
Yep. Okay. So you see how right here, this is a good cheat up. So that's what I was talking about in the other games. You see how you cheated up further on this, and you can immediately make this play.
I missed the demo.
Yeah. So good patience. I would have been sitting a little bit further back there, but that's just my play style. So it just lets you gain a little bit more speed. Let me back up to that, kind of talk through why I would be sitting back a little further here. So right here, as your teammate makes that touch, you kill your momentum, versus if you were sitting back here, just kind of either on the wall, turn up the wall, you would have momentum. You can turn back down on the wall, you have momentum towards the play. You can just turn straight on the wall, have momentum towards the play. But right here, you're coming from basically a dead stop into this challenge, versus if you were a little bit further back while he was still up, or just waited a little bit more, you would have had more momentum coming into this and would have been able to get a better 50. So does that make sense as far as my reasoning why I would do that? So again, it's a playstyle thing. This isn't necessarily wrong because they could have thrown the ball away. This could have been a worse touch. Your teammate could have gotten a better touch. He may have not gotten that accidental hit, and then you would have been ready for a 50. Just for everybody else that's watching, not a terrible position, just a difference in play styles.
We're basically comparing less space and less momentum versus more momentum and further distance.
Yeah. So I'm very much a counterattacker. And this is a space where my playstyle is a little bit more effective on it, because I would be further back here. I would see my teammate going. I would not commit yet because I don't see my teammate having control of this ball. So I would still be back as my teammate is still first man and he hasn't left yet. So right here, I'd still be sitting back here and I'd be kind of anticipating that shot. So this is just, again, reading. Remember how we talked about your opponent having a bad touch and not having control over this? Because your teammate does not have control over this is why I would stay back. Yes, this ball is high, but they've got the entire wall. They don't even have to use boost to touch this ball. So it's going on. I don't even think they do. So until right about here. But you see how your teammate doesn't have... Ooh. Okay, that was weird.
What?
I have no clue what happened there. Okay. Computer glitch.
Yeah.
So just because your teammate doesn't have control of this, I wouldn't start stacking up on your teammate yet. So if he was up in the air or he was on the wall and he was going to be the first person to make a touch on this guaranteed, yes, I would start stacking. Or if you're going to be aggressive here, be aggressive and already be in the air for this. So this is kind of that stuck in between of passive counterattack playstyle that I have and challenge everything first killer playstyle, you know?
Yeah. I definitely would have gone for this, but I have no boost.
Yeah, and so that's another reason too. If you have no boost, you should be rotating on pads and getting on back wall for defense. just because the back wall will allow you to theoretically defend anything that's not like a super powerful shot. The amount of angles they would have to get to hit this top corner and you not be able to save it with 24 boost from here, especially with their positioning, it's not likely. So if you have no boost, there's an even less reason for you to be stacking on your teammate. So right here, I would be grabbing this boost, sitting on back wall, discouraging them from passing it to you. Because if they see you on back wall, they're going to go, oh, he's high, so I'm going to take this low. And if it's low, that's really easy to save because you can just drive down off the back wall. Or if he continues this air dribble, all you've got to do right here is just drive off this, and you're going to be able to push this out. Versus trying to save this with no boost from the ground. You can save this with no boost off the wall. So let's keep going. Do you have any questions for me so far? Or does anybody in chat have any questions about anything that's been said so far?
Personally, I'd say you were very clear. Right there, I was over aggressive without looking specifically at who has the ball.
Okay, so like right here, back wall, that's just what you should be doing last time. So, okay, nice little air dribble. Flipper set failed, or at least failed to get that second touch.
Can you look from my perspective? Because I have no idea how I scuffed that. That looked so clear.
Yeah, let's back up.
I thought I had the perfect setup.
Yeah, so let's jump into... Okay. Yeah, that's been happening to a lot of people. That's like server ping difference. Or stop it right here. So your momentum isn't quite going with the ball. You're going more straight forward and the ball is going off to the side. So when you get that soft touch, the ball's still going to the right a little bit. And let's see if did you forward flip here?
Yeah. Diagonal.
Yeah, so you diagonal flipped the opposite direction that the ball was going, and that's what caused that.
Okay.
So, if you're doing a flipper set, you still have to follow the ball and flip kind of in the direction that it's going. See how it just continues going to the right there?
Yeah.
So, ball's to the right. You straighten out here. So while you catch the ball, you're already... Let's slow this down. So watch how the ball, you get the touch and you see how the ball's going towards the right. And then this boost right here to put you underneath the ball. See how the ball's still going to the right, and then you diagonal flip the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Diagonal flip still moves you to the left some, and that's why you didn't get that.
Okay.
So that's some. It's kind of hard to see at the full speed. So, but that's why.
Yeah. In another world, I probably would have gotten it as well. So it's small miss, but still, yeah, I get your point.
So if you had diagonal flipped the other way, you would have at least gotten another touch on the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna start thinking about that. That situation right there happens to me all the time, by the way. I need to go. I deem it that I need to go grab back boost, and my teammate is still in front. Like, should I try to get 30 from small pads instead, or like, because I don't trust my position to hold that 2v1 if...
All right, so tell me when... Right here?
No, go forwards. After I missed this boost, like right here, I realize I have no boost,
Mm-hmm.
and my teammate is on offense 1v2, and I don't trust him to and every time this happens, they get it past him, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
because so I'm just confused. Is he in the wrong for still going, or should I keep with the play because there's not even small pads, so I'm not sure what else
Yeah.
I can do in this position.
So right here, he is playing off this touch. Uh, and so right here, instead of turning in here, I would turn up. If you have momentum, I would go ahead and jump off the wall here. If did you have, you don't have any
Truly
boost here, right?
zero, zero.
Yeah, truly zero. You can at the very least. Uh, let me see how fast this ball is going.
No momentum, no boost, so I
Yeah.
just didn't know what
Okay.
to do here.
Yeah. So right here, yeah, that's just unfortunate boost starving by your opponents. So right here, the best idea is to go back and instead of cut in like this, cut in on back wall. Uh,
Okay.
so just back wall is the power position. If you're already on the back wall and your opponent goes for a double tap, that is such an easy clear for you. So just being on the back wall forces them to not go high, or if they do go high, you're gonna have the advantage in that. So
Yeah,
again, just look at if you had positioned on the back wall, they make this shot. Instead of you making this kind of contortionist save here to the corner, you've got a powerful clear to a spot where nobody is, and you can kind of reset the play. Everybody grab boost, and yes, your opponents have possession, but now you have all that time that everybody's gathering boosts and they're chasing down the ball in their own corner. Or if you get a touch over here, you're at least beating this guy. Uh, the only disadvantage to that is uh, if he somehow hits it far top left post. Uh, and so this is something that I call a skill check moment, where you position for the lower 90% of options that your opponent can execute. Uh, because
before
you.
you continue,
Mhm.
but I see long before, because directly when I pick up the corner boost, I see him going for a 45.
Mhm.
And obviously, if he's SSL, he's gonna yeet it as super hard. But I didn't think he would get such a powerful flick. Is it still better to go backboard with when
Yes.
I pretty much know he's getting a weak 45?
Yes. The thing is if you go backboard, I'm not talking backboard up here. I'm talking backboard right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just being right here, what that does is that kind of forces him to make a decision to try and get this like bottom left post. Uh, and depending on their skill level, they may be able to get that from when your teammate kind of forces this. Because that's the other thing you got to watch here is your teammate is still up and your teammate is still forcing this for you. Uh, so what you ask yourself here is if he gets the perfect shot, it's going to go in no matter what. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punish him for if he doesn't make the top 10% of possible plays here, he's going to score no matter what here. So that's what you got to think to yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punish the other 90%. So you're going to let him have that amazing top corner flick because you're not going to be able to save it anyway. Or if you are able to save it, you're giving up these options that are a lot easier for him. So I call this a skill check. So you position yourself to punish that 90% of those options because they're committing so hard up here. If you're right here, you bang this off to the side, you're punishing that lower 90%. He gets a good goal, he gets a good goal. But instead of positioning for that and getting this really weak touch, that, well, yes, you guys can recover from this, and you guys do, you could have punished them harder and sooner by positioning for that lower 90%. So does that make sense as far as like why I call it a skill check? Because it's like you're gonna make this 10%, or I'm gonna punish you hard. It's a skill
Yeah,
check.
that's another awesome tip. I think I overestimated you when you said or over what is. I thought you meant higher up the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really clever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is really good tips. I also have to add your English is really fancy, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Like, what you said contortioning shot? That like when I went for the aerial, you said my car was contortioning, or what did you say?
Yeah, a contortionist save. So
Yeah, that's a really awesome word
yeah,
vocabulary.
yeah. Well, thank you. Uh, but do you see how that kind of save like you're not going to get a powerful hit again? Look at your boost trail. So if you were right here, you'd have a straight boost trail at whatever ball gets thrown, except for some amazing top corner shot. And then even that top corner shot, you may still even be able to save that from this back wall by just boosting and speed flipping in the air.
Yeah,
Or
I can almost score from that position.
yeah. So from right here, just depending on what they do, even if he gets that amazing save, maybe you even get lucky and get a top corner pinch into their net. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, so skill checking is something that is extremely powerful. Uh, it's not it's not smart to do at a pro level, um, but uh, you, as far as ranked goes, it's a good opportunity.
hmm are, are are you like 2000 in twos or like?
No. So I work with some pro players. So I don't have the mechs to keep up with them. I'm like champ. I'm almost champ one in threes, but I've only got like 800 hours of actually playing the game. Uh, I do a lot more analysis and other type stuff. So kind of taking the grunt work out of deciding on what to do and what to work on and stuff like that. So
I see. Because these tips, I've like never even come close to thinking of them. So this is just, I think this is gonna help me a lot.
oh yeah, that skill check thing that's a game changer at least in ranked.
hmm
And you see, I'm trying to remember what game it was, but I think it was Rogue last like RLCS or no, it wasn't Rogue. There was some top 16 team that literally one of their players went for demos the entire game.
I saw that one. That was hilarious,
Yeah, and so
but it
that
worked. I don't
yeah,
know.
and that was a skill check type moment where it was we know we are so much better than you that we're gonna check your skill, and
Yeah,
they didn't have it. And
I
so
think it was Rogue.
yeah, okay, that might have been it. But do you see how that kind of skill check mentality? One, it
hmm
sets yourself up as the superior person. It's like, why is he giving me this top corner shot so easily? And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, because I don't hit those enough.
And then
And
they're
yeah,
gonna think bad
yeah,
about themselves, and then they're gonna whip it because they don't,
yeah.
because I think they're not gonna hit it.
Yeah, or they're
Yeah.
going to be confident and they're going to pass that skill check, and then you know to respect it.
Yeah.
And so the earlier you do skill checks in the game, the better, because that gives you more information on your opponents. So, uh,
Yeah. Awesome tips.
yeah. So let's watch back this play. So 50. Okay.
I'm so excited because I've never like this skill check and this actually looking how much control thing they have. I think that's good. That's huge. That's truly a game changer.
Yeah. So like you can see like right here again, this is a skill check. Like because he doesn't get good he gets this bad touch on this. uh
Go
hold on
on.
a sec. Mhm. You see how when he gets this bad touch on this, you immediately challenge?
hmm
Essentially, you just got to recognize those situations more when they get those bad touches and immediately challenge. That moment right there, uh, really, even this positioning right here, uh, in a good touch right here would have been soft touch here into banger onto your own net that you can't save because it's so high.
Yeah.
Uh, so right here, this kind of moment, kind of bad positioning, but it's a skill check, you know, and it works out. So you see
So
how you positioning for their bad touch, that lower 90% option leads to that goal
yeah.
versus covering their 10% of playing perfectly. Like, okay, let me back up. So like right here, if this guy could do that top 10% perfectly every time, this ball is going to bang into your net, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, I would hit that from his position 90% of the time, so I
Yeah,
deemed he would be able to score it.
yeah. But you see how in this instance, because you played that lower 90% option, you get this good challenge, and that leads to an easy goal for your teammate against a teammate with no boost.
Yeah, that's really yeah, that's clever to cover the 90%.
Yeah. So again, at the higher ranks and depending on your opponent, that's why I say skill check early, because if you skill check early, you know they're not going to be able to do that specific situation consistently. Uh,
Mm,
and if they do it consistently and they do get that banger top corner shot or they do clear it super hard, then you know they have that skill and that you need to start respecting that skill, and you know that from the start. So yes, you gave up a goal, but then now you know how to counter one of their best strengths. So you got to think of it a little bit more long term than just the individual play. And this is more
hmm
so for ranked, not pro level competitive, or if you're teaming up and stuff like this.
Yeah, then you always go for the 100% covering.
It depends. Depends on your
Okay.
opponent. Depends. But pro play and tournament play with teams that it's organized versus ranked are almost completely different games. So
I mean, it's relative as well, right? 90% of for them is it's
yeah,
the same rule, I suppose.
yeah. So it's golds can't air dribble 90%. Golds can't air dribble,
Yeah.
so you don't have to respect that option for the most part, or at least legitimate golds can't. So
Mm,
let's see how this turns around. So you see how this skill check failed?
yeah. Yeah, because that's an insane touch from him. I had
Yeah,
no idea how he got that past me.
yeah. And so that's why I play a little more conservatively here. Uh, this would be a good challenge if your teammate was already back. Uh, so that's another thing is that's a good force, but you're forcing it to an open net versus forcing it to a teammate. So not a bad challenge in and of itself, like mechanically, because it forces him to throw the ball away. The problem is your teammate's not set up for that yet, so that's more of a timing issue. Uh, so if you stay back here, uh, or let's watch your boost trail. Okay, yeah. So that was just a relatively. I think what you were doing here is you were reading the ball instead of reading his hit. So
I mean, I think I saw him. That's why I covered more left. But I was so sure I was gonna get a block, and I thought I would somehow. Since my teammate is here, I thought it would go to the ceiling, and then my teammate has an open
yeah.
net.
So
Uh,
right here, what you're doing is you're reading the ball. You're not, or the reading the ball's bounce. You're not reading his touch.
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'm too
So
far to the right.
yeah. So if you're gonna make this challenge, you've got to read that he's gonna touch it, and when he touches it, because of his position, it's going forward some way, and because the angle he's coming at it. Uh, let's watch. So
I
right
think I
here,
didn't expect him to.
he's coming from the left. So that means unless he gets some ridiculous jumps up, air rolls, and hits it this way and gets the left corner of his car over here
Impossible.
from this position, it's going to the right. So if you're challenging this hit, uh, you need to challenge it as if he's hitting it to the right. And so if that ball was just going to continue on the path it was, you would have made that. But because he's beating you to this, and you're reading that bounce instead of his touch, that's why you get beat here. By
Yeah.
a slim margin, but you still get beat.
Yeah, I basically just need to be more aware of where he actually is.
Yeah, what options he has. He doesn't have an option to hit this to the right at all. So if you just go across here and take, so like right here, another thing is you jump a little too soon. If you
In general or in this play?
in this play,
Yeah, okay.
so
Yeah,
right
I
here, you
realized.
see, if you keep your momentum up, you can get closer to him and then jump and just angle straight up, and you're going to get a more controlled 50 that stays more on his side versus a hard 50 uh, that could go anywhere. Because if you jump and you basically fast aerial, like right here, you're going to still be able to get up, but you're going to hit it with your wheels, which is going to soften it. And that's going to keep the play in their half as your teammate rotates out versus a pinch, which can go anywhere. So risk reward type situation on this 50.
Is this a position where I should always go for the kill on the ball?
I
Like
would
try to kill it.
I would just simply because he's facing forward. He's um, trying to clear this. So I would just not necessarily for a kill, but just for a block and keeping it in their half. Versus this is more of a dunk or like a pinch attempt. So I would go for a softer control play just
Okay.
because your teammate's rotating out. You don't know exactly how much boost he has. But if you get a soft touch here and your teammate sees that and starts to come down, he could grab one or two pads and be ready for that. Or he could continue with his momentum and rotate all the way out while you set up to shadow again or something like that. So another thing is instead of boosting all this way, speed flip, then jump, just conserve boost as much as possible while still maintaining speed. So
Did I have time for a speed flip there?
let's see.
I didn't want to get too far front.
Okay, yeah, so you kind of went a little. Okay, so you still boost here. Okay, yeah, you're making a hard cut here, so yeah, you don't have time to speed flip. But I would. Uh,
I get your point. Conserve boost and get into supersonic.
yeah. So just with him challenging like that, I was just looking at your boost trail. I was thinking you were coming at
Yeah.
him a little bit farther. But but yeah. So
Point.
yeah. So he passes that skill check. So right here. Let's fall. So right here, I would not leave with all this boost pad right here.
This is another position 1v2 on offense.
Mm-hmm. But here's the difference: your opponent, your teammate, has control of this, or he made the last touch. So right here, I would be turning in, grabbing this boost pad, and positioning more so middle, because this ball can go anywhere, but it's more than likely going over here or the opponent's going to try and drag this across. So right here, all you're doing is just leaving an open line of sight for some glorious pinch. Versus if you come in here, rotate middle, now you kind of see that, okay, this play is going to go to this side. Now you grab the boost, and then now you're ready to cut this play off.
Mm-hmm.
Versus sitting right here, you're basically just defending the wall right now. But you see what I'm talking about as far as being able to cut off this play. Because that'll only take 20-30 boost to jump from here to here.
Because if I'm in the mid go following the ball, I can hit it into my corner and grab the boost.
Yeah, there's that option, or you can just get a block and let your teammate continue to rotate out and then cover. So, like, if you slow this play down by challenging this, or at the very least fake challenging this, you either fake challenge this and he goes, oh, I need to take an immediate shot from midfield, and then you fake challenge, so you're all the way here facing back, perfect shadow position for whatever shot he takes. Or he likes to try down and control, you can at least be right here, keeping this play close to you, forcing this high. If he's going to try and shoot, it's going to be an incredibly difficult shot. If it goes off the back, he hits it and it goes off the back wall, you're still ahead of him. And so you can clear it to your other corner. So versus waiting for this play to come to you and you have zero momentum, being in that midfield gives you that momentum. And essentially you'd wind up kind of in a similar position, but you'd have momentum and you could have challenged us a little bit easier versus just making the save. Because if his teammate was aggressive like you were, free open net because you don't get a good touch on that, or a good first touch on it. So. Okay, good low 50. Okay, good force. So again, right here, in this position, again, if you're gonna shadow, if you're gonna be right here, 9 times out of 10, it's better to be right here.
Okay.
For the reasons we discussed earlier. So, let's see how that...
I obviously hit it poorly, but then I thought my teammate was hitting it on the way back.
Yeah. Yeah, so right here, your teammate still doesn't have possession of this. And so that's why you want to stay back and just sit in this corner. Because then right here, it's like, what's he going to do? Roll it out this way or pass it to his teammate who's so far away that he's not going to be able to do anything before your teammate challenges him? So just patience here. Make them give you the ball for free here, you know? So...
Yeah, I should just keep it simple, like the gold principle of just being in the goal.
Yeah, so it's not being in the goal, it's being in the goal right here specifically, because
you
can't
I know.
to anything going off this sidewall. Versus right here, you just kind of force a 50 to open space. Your teammate should have already challenged this.
Yeah, I think that's... I mean, obviously I should have looked, but I thought he was challenging.
Yeah. So he should have challenged this, but because you're coming in like this, he thinks you're challenging it.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, car body language matters. But again, if you just let this play come to you, you don't have to try and get this weird, maybe this works, maybe this doesn't work 50. It's, he's on the sidewall with a ball that's rolling slowly towards you. You can handle that at diamond. You know, you can handle that at plat even, just sitting right here. His only option then is going to be passing it out, or if he does try and just like dunk and 50 you it in, you've got ground and boost, and you've got your flip. You've got this covered. And then you can force it in this way, or you can force it out that way. But this 50, all it does is set up his teammate. And your teammate sees you going for it. So he's like, oh, okay, my teammate's got it. And then you're beat to it. So right here, after this 50, I would be rotating back towards net. Just because your teammate is still technically in shadow position, he could have gotten the save, but because you challenge, that throws him off. So,
Hmm.
again, back wall would have been an easy save here. So,
Yeah.
and then I think that was the last goal of this, wasn't it? Yeah. So everything else just kind of, I imagine it's pretty much the same. So you get a lot of good notes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Really, those were some awesome tips, like this skill check thing. Uh, like skill checking and seeing how much control they actually have over the play and who has the ball.
Mhm.
Uh, I noted clearer decisions, as in showing my intentions
Yeah.
to my teammate.
Yeah. As soon as you
Uh,
show your intentions to your teammate, do what you showed them because it makes them trust you. It makes you easy to read.
mm,
They may not be able to be easy to read, but if at least half of you are able to read your teammate, it's going to go a lot better. So, uh,
and then I noted what?
oh, I was just going to say, does anybody in the call have any questions? So I know me and Dreams have been chatting it up quite a bit. Just want to make sure nobody that has a question that I can answer related to this doesn't get answered or something. So I'll take that silence as a no. So yeah. So what were you saying, Dreams?
To noted cheating up further because you judge. Because that's the same thing with skill check. Because the reason I don't cheat up further is because I'm scared of that the 5% chance of it pinching straight in, and I'm not ready for it. But I should. It's better for me to have generally a better sheet than to be ready for that 5% chance.
Yeah. And so again, that's more of a rate thing than it is. Well, the principle still applies at pro play. It's just what that 5 to 10% shot is.
Hmm.
You kind of see that's when First Killer. He was on. I'm trying to remember what team. Yeah. When First Killer was on Rogue, that was their entire strategy. Is because nobody would cover those shots, that 5% shots, their entire strategy was get it to First Killer and let him hit those 5% shots. And they kind of lived and died by that.
uh,
But when he hit one or two of those shots, it opened up that other 90% because they started respecting that 5% shot and giving up that other 80%,
hmm.
which would typically just be a really simple pass off the back wall because you'd have First Killer up in the corner, two guys watching First Killer because they have to cover the whole net against First Killer, uh, and then they pass it down mid to basically where this guy's at, and they just hit it in because First Killer demanded two of those people by consistently hitting those 5% shots in that game. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's some really good things to think about, and I also noted that the wall that I should use the wall more because it truly is a power position, especially that back wall, like being in that middle back wall
yeah,
position. I don't think about that, but that's such a good position
yeah,
on
like
that net in the goal.
watch a pro game and just watch how often they drive up this back wall to do something. Like watch them position themselves here, or they'll position themselves vertically or whatever. Like even if the ball's way over here, third man 9 times out of 10 you'll see them. One will be up here, and the other will be back post or near post, depending on what the rotation is. So, but 9 times out of 10 you'll see a pro on the back wall when they're on defense, just because it's such a powerful position. It gives you air without using your flip or your boost. Uh, so
Yeah, because I obviously think about the back wall, but I think I usually go like straight over the goal instead. But that side position is, I mean, that was eye opening.
yeah, so that's going to give you a lot of options. It's it's just really scary. You're driving up and you see an opponent right here, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
like
because he
I've seen
covers so much.
it's like I've seen pros do that. I need to respect this guy just because he's sitting here, and it's like, okay, but he's plat. It's like I don't care. He's sitting right there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So there you go.
And I'm definitely going to steal that Justin version of the squishy save.
Yeah. So another thing to think about, just that this positioning is an extension of shadow defense. Uh, so if you look at it, you're coming here. If you're shadowing, you're shadowing, you're shadowing, you're shadowing, you're covering the shots. Right here, you're basically shadowing without having to worry about an entire half of the field. So, like, if you're shadowing from here, you've got to worry about him passing it to the side to get around. You got to worry about him hitting it to this side. So, right here, basically what you're doing is you're already in a challenging position, but in shadow defense.
Mhm.
And you don't have to worry about one side because you have a massive wall helping you there. So it's like basically turning in on shadow defense and them not having an option except for one side. So that's why this is so powerful. All the concepts for shadow defense apply right here. So when you're in this position, think of it as shadow defense. Uh, but also only do it if it's like right here. The further out you get, just the sharper that angle is. Uh, if they're right here, they only have the size of the net to get there, and that's really easy to cover with a car length. But the further out they get, the less powerful this gets. So,
Yeah, yeah, I realize.
so that's
I
just
mean,
the very important caveat with that position is yes, this is powerful if they're in like these front two panels, but outside of that, it gets weaker and weaker,
yeah,
and it becomes
understandable.
better to actually be out shadowing. So
I truly thought defense was my strong point, but with all these tips, I realize I've so much more to learn. Um, so yeah, this was enlightening.
all right. Well, cool. Well, if you don't have any other questions about anything that I've covered or just any other specific situations in this replay I want to cover, I'll go ahead and end it. But
There's, I think, in 20 or 30 seconds, I think I messed up an scoring opportunity. No, no, five, like at the end of the game.
oh, okay.
Uh, I don't think, I don't know how I could have scored it
Okay. So,
if I remember.
let's
Um,
watch.
this might be the wrong replay, but I'm pretty sure I had a goal scoring opportunity that I messed up. Yeah, this 2v1, I suppose.
Yeah, so there, again, you come into this play and you stop. So you kill your momentum. Uh, be a little bit. Another thing you can do here is drive up the wall just to maintain momentum, or do like a little S, so that way you still have momentum and can be close to this play. So, 9 times out of 10, you don't want two people in this corner. Uh,
Yeah, I'm just forcing it because of time, you know.
yeah.
But, I understand.
But even then, they're not.
Even for this goal.
Yeah, even then, if you sit back here, you're gonna allow your teammate to have some time and space to get back to set up for this 50. So again, it's that timing of challenges. So make sure you're only forcing the ball when your teammate is ready for that ball to be forced. Even on 0 seconds, unless you're going for some just god tier dunk that somehow manages to pinch into somehow, you want to still be using those principles. You just position a little bit more aggressively for your teammate to win. So right there, I would have let your teammate challenge that, and you rotate out, grab boost, because now that you basically are both forcing the exact same reaction here. Right here, you got boost. So right here, your teammate's already on the wall. He is going to force him to respect some option off this wall. There's no reason for you to try and force that too. So if you step back here, your teammate, well, yes, he's still going to get beat. He's still forcing this option out here, and then you're ready for it. And so in between this space, if you had positioned right here, I'm pretty sure you can hit a shot moving. Let's see, right? Like, that's a relatively slow shot, especially for GC.
If I was on this wall, I could have scored.
Yeah, and your teammate was forcing the same reaction anyway. So if anything, this guy probably would have stayed back and let that guy challenge. But even then, now you've got a half volley shot with full boost that you can either put on net, back wall, double tap, round double tap. I mean, you're GC, you know all the options you've got from this position. So, especially with the ball moving at kind of like that perfect in between speed of it's fast, but it's slow enough to be easily read, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, again, even if you're down, still use those principles of positioning. Good job positioning to be an outlet pass. Your teammate sat up a little too far there.
And I just got dunked on that. If I was better, I could have air dribbled it into goal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so like again, right here, this positioning, it's on the wall. How easy is it for you to drive and catch this?
Exactly.
Again, corner side, close to the wall, this spot's OP. So, yes, he probably would have challenged you, but you could have flicked that outlet past your teammate, maybe some long goal shot, you know. But look how much a boost you use just trying to catch that versus proper positioning drive.
It's so simple, right? It's something you hear in like Plat or Diamond, but it's really is that good.
Yep, it's that good. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So does that make sense? Anybody that hopped in this call a little late have any questions about what we just covered? All right. Well, cool. Well, if that's it, I'm going to go ahead and end this call, and I'll get you this recording once I figure out where we're going to put it up at. So.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been amazing. Like truly, there is so many things that I mean, SSL isn't too far away now, is it?
No, it's really not. Like you've got the max, you've got the enough consistency for it. It's just all these decisions that are making your life harder. So.
Yeah.
You couldn't go over any ones gameplay, could you?
So if you open a ticket, that's how we do coaching replays. So if you go to,
Oh, I see. No.
yeah, so that's how you do that. So you'll upload a replay and the book a coach channel, or your open
Oh,
a
I was
ticket.
just 1-1v1 you.
No, so I'm still
Okay.
I'm still like champ-ish. So I'm not. I don't have the max. I just work with pros. So
Sure thing.
so, yep,
I get it.
yep. So as that one quote from School of Rock goes, "Those who can't teach, teach gym," or those that can't do, teach, and those that can't teach, teach gym. So,
Mm-hmm.
so great movie if you haven't seen it. So, well, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end that, and you guys have a good day.
Yeah, have
Yeah,
a
you
have
have
a
a good one.
If you want to drop some coaching rep, that would be awesome.
absolutely. I'll go ahead and do that. Thanks so much.